Hello! How are you all today? So I told you we'd be back on Thursday, and here we are. Well, I'm here, and I'm just waiting for Christina. She's going to be here in a minute. What we're going to talk to you today about is emergency preparedness. Now, that's such a big topic, isn't it? It doesn't really matter what you're trying to prepare for, whether you're preparing for the government to fall, whether you're preparing for a major environmental disaster. It doesn't matter what you're preparing for. We just really want you to prepare. Hello, Gina. Hi, Suzanne. I'm glad you guys are here. And as usual, if you know Christina, she's probably getting herself a coffee and then she'll join us later. So just to start talking, I'm going to announce our winner from last episode, and it was Linda Foley. So Linda, if you want to make sure that I have your message or your address, I will get something out for you. So Christina says she wants to be in the video. Should I let Christina in? What do you think? Yes, if you want to see Christina. No, if no. You know what? I'm gonna let Christina on. Christina, add. So while Christina's coming in the door, like Linda, you're our winner from last week. Hey, Christina, you're here.
I'm here. Yeah.
Get coffee.
I don't drink coffee. Today
tea.
I got my tea. I'm a beast. I'm a beast. Yeah, and I have a southern accent today, remember?
So I was just telling these lovely people what we're going to talk about today. But for those of you just popping in, if you don't know me, I'm Tracy Taylor, and I'm from Alberta, Canada. And this is
Christina Rios Tirado, and I am from Northern New York.
And together
we are the Chatty
Cooks.
I froze.
You froze, yeah. You froze. You froze, and freezing is something that very likely could happen. So before we start talking too much, we'd like you guys to give us some ideas. Oh, there's Suzanne. She's got the real Southern accent.
I know, right?
If you can think of some natural disaster that you might, in your area or in anyone's area, need to get prepared for, please drop it in the comments. So let us know what natural disasters would warrant you for doing a little extra prep work. Drop it in the comments, and then we're going to start talking about some basic tips and tricks that could be used to kind of cover all of them. So Christina, do you want to start, my dear?
Sure. Start with why. Why do we want to be prepared? Why should you be prepared?
Snowstorms?
Anybody? Huh?
I'm just answering. So Michelle says snowstorms. She's from down the road from me. And we had a bit of a snowstorm last night, believe it or not, September 13th.
Yeah, that's just crazy. But ice storms, like up here, I live in Northern New York. I know when people say, and I say I'm from New York, they're like, oh, the city. No. There's a whole big state on the other side. And I'm from way up north. I'm actually probably about 3 hours from Toronto. So, I'm right up north towards the Canadian border, and we're right on Lake Ontario. So we get a lot of snow. And has anybody ever, whenever something's coming, they're like, oh, a hurricane's coming, oh, it's a storm's coming or whatever. And you run to the store, what do you see?
Empty shelves.
Yeah. And I just have to throw this out there. Why does everybody go, I need to go get milk, bread, and eggs? Seriously?
Yeah.
Is everybody making French toast during a storm? I just need to know that, because I'm just like, I don't know. I'm always perplexed by that. But anyway,
just being a little bit prepared can give you the extra time. So if it's a hurricane, if it's flooding, you can do something that's specific to that disaster as it's coming. Mm-hmm. So if you have some of these things already in your home, then you can spend the time boarding up your windows or getting your sump pumps ready, or whatever it is that you need to do for that particular disaster that's on its way to your house, rather than you being out trying to, take over Walmart and, get whatever's left on the shelf. If you prepare yourselves a little bit, then that's absolutely going to help.
Hi, Amy. Hi, Karen. Yeah, and you know what else, too? It's also going to save you a whole ton of money, because I know from my instance of being in a, in the ice storm, prices skyrocketed because they weren't going to have deliveries coming in and everything. So people that were trying to get stuff after the fact were paying through the nose for it. So it's like, why do you want to do? Are you prepared? Do you have a cash stash? You know, and if the power's out, how you paying? So there's a lot of things to like really factor into that. So actually, I'm gonna let Tracy is gonna talk about water and why it's so important to have some water on hand. And we're in a couple places that you can. We're not gonna get into hardcore where you know what you're gonna do. We're just talking short term here. You know, if the power's gonna be out for a few days or you're snowbound or whatever.
Yeah. So it's advised that you have 3 days worth of food, water, and a few emergency essentials. So water by far probably the most important. Not sure if you know it, but the human body can go without food for 3 weeks. I know sometimes you go from breakfast to lunch and you think you're gonna die, but you're not. 3 weeks. You can go 3 weeks without food. Unemployment is absolutely all of these things. If you can start putting a few things away, it doesn't matter what the need is, this is going to help. So 3 weeks without food. So we do want you to have food because we don't want you to go 3 weeks without food, but we're going to talk about water first. So I know there's a 20-second delay, so I'm going to ask the question and then I'm going to just talk a little bit before I give you the answer, but I'm pretty sure it's broadcasted everywhere. Does anyone have an idea how much water you need, say for 3 days? You're a family of 4, but let's talk individually. How much water per individual should you have for 3 days? Does anyone know? They figured it out. I know you know, but don't give the answer. Let's give our viewers a chance to answer. So okay. How much water should we be putting away and stockpiling for each person? 4 liters a day. So 4 liters is see, where's Lorena when you need her? Math is hard. 4 liters is a gallon, right? Yeah. So you need 1 gallon per person or animal in your home or pet. You can hear the birds in the background. Those are going to be dinner. They don't need. No, I'm sorry, Christina.
Not birds.
But they probably don't need a gallon. It's 1 gallon per person or pet in your home. So this is 7 gallons. These are Amazon, Walmart, wherever you want to get them. These are 7 gallons. So we would need 3 of these in our home because we have 7 bodies in our home. 5 people, 2 dogs. So we would need minimum of 3 of those. So 21 gallons, 1 gallon per day per body. Another thing that's always a good idea is maybe it's going to go 4 or 5 days. Maybe we don't have any water left. If you're on a well, that's wonderful, right? No, it's not, because if there's no power, you don't get the water out of your well. So you do need a way to maybe clean some extra water. So there's different ways to clean the water. You can get water safe bleach. You can get water tablets. Christina has a life straw, which she was going to bring up to show you, but I think if you remember, she told you on Tuesday she had a little accident, so the stairs are not her friend. But you can get a life straw. This is called a SteriPen. You just put this in the water and it'll zap all the bacteria out. There's also a filter, so if your water source has some particles and stuff in, you can clean that water to make it safe for drinking. Water is key. We can go without food for a lot longer than we can go without water, so you make sure you have your water. Christina is going to... Oh, Christina, you have an answer or a question?
I do. I just want to tell people, in case they didn't store water, there's a couple options of where you can get water. Number one, if you have city water, there's still going to be, you lose power, there's still going to be pressure in the lines. So you're still, so if you know that it's going to, something's happened or whatever, Karen, yep, you could do a hand pump, but there's still pressure in the lines. So you know what? Fill up everything you have. Fill up your tub, fill up buckets, fill up bowls, whatever. And another place that people don't think about is your hot water heater. It's a big, old, huge water storage. So that's a really, really great one for water. And another little tip is, I don't know if anybody knows this, you can flush your toilet with a bucket of water.
Yeah.
So that's just,
I know that?
A little.
Me? Can I?
I'm
going to tell this really quick story. Last year during the hurricanes, I had some friends in Houston area that were deeply affected by the hurricanes. I really wanted my boys to understand kind of what that felt like. So I went downstairs and I popped the breakers off everything except for the freezer. I left the one in the freezer going so that we didn't lose all of the meat that was in the freezer, but I shut everything else off. Every time we needed to flush the toilet, and I just told them, I don't know what happened. I've called the power company. They're going to get around when they can, but it could take. So we went 24 hours without any power. I made sure that all of their cell phones and stuff like that were done so that they couldn't charge them back up again. Mine, of course, was okay because I had to keep people updated on how they were doing on Facebook. The kids would run out and they would get a ice cream bucket of water from the pool every time they needed to flush the toilet. So yes, you can flush the toilet by pouring water in the back of your tank. Yep. And in the winter time, maybe not where Gina lives. And Gina, sorry, you're not going to have any snow, but we can bring buckets of snow in, and then that will turn into water. We've got to let it melt first and then properly clean it, but then we have water.
Absolutely. You know, there's a million different ideas out there. We're not going to go into all of them, but there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. Just like, even if you just have the knowledge, you know, it can help you out in case you ever get in one of these situations. So, do you have any other tips for water? Or are we ready for food?
I think we should keep moving. If they have questions, they can ask questions, and we can go back and give them some advice in the comments.
Okay. So, how much food do you have in your house? Do you know, like, the average household has like 3 days worth of food? That's like it. And we're talking like condiments and crap. That's it. You know, most people go to the store every day, every other day. I'm not asking you, lady, because, you know, I don't have as much as you, but I got a pretty good thing going on downstairs. I just can't get to it right now. But most people don't realize that stores only have a couple of days worth of food because they have trucks coming all the time. So if there's like some natural disaster where like the trucks can't get out, they can't get the food there, you're not going to make it to the store. So it's really about just being self-reliant and being prepared and taking care of your family. There's kind of a saying out there that you should store what you eat and eat what you store. And what does that mean? Well, there is a ton of emergency food out there, and I have tried it. I have researched it because we talked about the allergies with my daughter, and I researched, and a lot of it are either, well, if you want to eat beef stew, chicken Alfredo, and chili, 3 meals a day for every day, with a bunch of garbage in the bag, you're good to go with those. But we have a better option here. That's why I love Thrive, and that's like one of the things of why when I started, you know, using them for a storage and everything, and then cooking with them every day, I know that if we're coming to emergency, guess what? I know how to use it. I know how that my kids like it, and I have also stored what they like. You know, so it's just going to be everyday business for us. It's not going to be like, okay, now you're going to eat this chicken Alfredo that you've never had that I know you hate. But, you know, I can say, hey, you know what? Guess what? I'm making tacos. You know, even if the power's out, I'm making tacos.
Yeah. And so some people might be wondering, where would you start? How would you start building that supply? Do you, like, is it imperative that they place one order and have everything? Or could they start buying bit by bit?
Yep. Absolutely. Well, you know what? That's the thing with Thrive. Thrive has so many options. Do we have, and I don't think you guys can't get them, right? In Canada, you can't do the emergency cubes and stuff like that.
You know, we just have to make it up ourselves. It doesn't come in.
You have to make it up yourself.
Just make it up and order it.
Under Peace of Mind on the website, they actually do have like 3-month, 1 year, you know, emergency cubes, stuff like that you actually can just buy that has, you know, a bunch of suggested things, which is awesome. But I know for me that, you know, there's going to be stuff in there that I am never going to use, you know, like in case they sneak in some quinoa, because, you know, I hate quinoa. I don't want that in my storage. So that's the really great thing about the delivery. And that was like why I started to begin with too, is I figured I could build my, my storage up monthly, you know, by doing, you know, setting a budget saying, okay, I'm going to spend $100. I'm going to spend $200 a month and put it down there. But it's not just for in case there's a snowstorm, in case there's whatever. I mean, everybody knows we use this every day. You and I use this every day. Not everybody does, and that's okay. But I have a home store built up where, you know, pretty much, you know, I mean, even like when we do these, you like throw stuff at me going, oh, you know, you can make blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I don't make that. But I'm like, wait a minute, I got the stuff to make it because I have a home store going on. And that so that saves you in times of like if you're sick, because if a mom is sick, nobody else can.
I think Christina froze, so I'm
Sorry,
just
I
going to
just
go.
froze.
Oh, so when you're looking at purchasing stuff for your food, you need 4 items. So, oh, sorry, Christina, you're back. You froze there for a minute. Pretty sure you froze. Either that or you were very, very still.
I was voguing for a minute. I was voguing. Yeah. So
you need
yeah,
four
it's
things
a really,
in your
great way.
food storage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, four things in your food
right?
storage.
We need
Yes, you want to tell me what the 4 things are, my lady?
I sure will. So I already have my fingers up counting. So
Yeah.
So you need some starches. So that would be like your rice, your pasta, your potatoes, your quinoa, oatmeal. You need some protein. So your beans, your meats, your dairy, your cheeses, and your eggs. You need your vitamin foods. So your fruits and your vegetables. And then you need your flavoring. So things like cooking oil, butter, seasoning, salt, tea, drink crystals, that kind of stuff. So
and never forget seasonings. That's like an underlooked thing, and that's what's great about like our chef's choice, because you know what? That you can put in anything. You can put that in from spaghetti sauce to tacos, and it gives you the seasoning. A lot of people forget about seasoning.
Another thing, if you are buying from either from Thrive or any other company, if your food is coming like this, make sure you do not overlook this. Have this stored with your food. There would be nothing worse than to have this and not be able to get into it. And I know people could probably figure it out, but it would take me a long time, and I like my teeth. So I'm going to make sure that I have this. So
I was just saying hi to
water,
Christina.
and we've talked food, and then there's a few other things that they recommend that you have on hand. And I got the message that it was show and tell day, so I brought stuff to show you.
I didn't.
You want to? I know, I'm a keener, right? This was my husband's 10th anniversary gift. I bought it from at Value Village for $4, and he loves it because it is a crank radio and it's solar powered. So if we lose power, we can still find out what's going on. We can crank it up, or we can solar power. You're going to want to have a first aid kit. You're going to want to have things that don't necessarily require batteries. So a flashlight that would crank, or solar. These are really great. These are Survival Frog. They're inflatable, and it's not going to show you very bright because it's bright in here, but these will light up. We have these in all of our windows, so they stay charged, and if we ever need them, and they also collapse, so if you need to take them, pack and go. And then lanterns. So you want to make sure you have light. You want to make sure that you have a way to get a hold of, or a way to get information on what's going on, so you would hear how much longer you are going to be without your amenities. And you love those lanterns. I know, they're great, aren't they? And
I've got a couple of those
first
too.
aid kit, because if you're fumbling around and it's dark and you're trying to, pump water or whatever it is you're trying to do, there is a chance that you're going to end up needing some band-aids or some extra first aid stuff.
And another thing too, I just want to put out there, because I know that we're listing a whole bunch of things, and a lot of times people are like, oh my God, that's going to be, cost me a fortune or whatever. That is the great thing with Thrive, because you can do it monthly, you can set your budget, and the dollar store, any of those places that you go, look for the bargains, to fill out a first aid kit instead of, because I know, yeah, because with first aid kits and stuff, I know that if you go and buy one on Amazon, they're like $7,500 for a really good one. So I know for us, every time I go to the dollar store, I pick some up. And I just add it to the kit. So there's so many ways you can do this without breaking the bank, and so that you're just a little bit more prepared for next time there's that snowstorm or hurricane. I mean, we're in hurricane season right now. Look at all the people who had to evacuate and stuff that's going on. And another great thing too,
and
somebody said flooding up there.
Deirdre just popped on here. So Deirdre is my friend who moved to Houston a year ago, and she moved in slightly before the hurricane did. So that was kind of her welcome to Houston. And
Mhm.
she, yeah, it was I think a bit of a rude awakening for her because we don't deal with hurricanes here. And yeah, and this year she was actually talking to me about how how to get more prepared, and she wants to make sure that they're ready for it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I mean, you can't, my husband always tells me when we're doing stuff, and his saying is, I'd rather have it, don't need it, than need it, don't have it. If you
Absolutely.
never, I hope you never have to use it. I absolutely hope you never have to use any of it. And everything that is in any kind of little emergency thing you got going on is usable at any time, and you just replace it. Yeah. We've been going back and forth, and she's been wearing her head lantern. She's fun.
I am. I'm a lot of fun. Some of these things are so
Yeah,
cool
you are
though.
right.
What?
Yeah, and you look amazing,
Thank you.
amazing in a head lantern.
But if there's
Yeah.
anything that we can do to help you to get some of your peace of mind by maybe getting a little bit of your food storage set up, you know how to get a hold of us. We can help you with the sales. We can absolutely give you a list of what's recommended for short
hmm
term. Some of you might be even looking at longer term, and you know what? You know how to get a hold of us. Shoot us a message and we will get you hooked up, no problem. Actually,
Yep.
most of our emergency prep is stuff we do use. Well, that's what we say, eh? Store what you use
Yep.
and use what you store. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So before we get going, obviously, any questions you guys have, pop it down below, and we will get back to you. And also, if anything that's longer, but we want to talk about what we're going to talk about next week because it is hurricane season and stuff that's going on. So we got a couple. We're kind of going to expand on this, but just easy stuff that people can do that maybe you guys don't think about that you need to do. So we're going to talk about emergency in your car or if you have to evacuate.
Yeah.
So steps you can take and some things you can do and everything. And I'm really excited about it that we're putting this out there because it's a lot of times it's stuff people don't think about. You don't think about it
Absolutely.
until it's actually happening.
Yeah, and Deirdre just asked if we talked about water. We absolutely, that was first and foremost. That was the first thing we
Mm-hmm.
talked about before you popped in here. So, great point. She just said the shelves
And I have a great
are
place
empty.
too. If anybody that wants to know, I have, because I know Life straws are expensive. They're like $20 a piece. I have another place. I get mine. I get them off of eBay, and they're military ones. They don't have as many gallons, but they work just as good. So anything like that we've talked about, and you're wondering where the heck do I get this? Just shoot us a message, and we will get that information to you to help you out. Okay, and that if you want any Thrive information, we are the experts.
We can probably hook you up with that too.
I'm pretty sure we could.
So that's basically
So
all we have for today. We will be back on Tuesday, but for now, I'm Tracy Taylor from Alberta, and this is.
And I am Christina Rios Tirado with the Southern accent from upstate New York, Northern New York, not upstate.
And together we are.
The Chatty Cooks.
Chatty Cooks.
I'm chattier.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see you later.
Bye.
And hopefully anybody who is in the hurricane's way, hoping that it heads back on out to the ocean and you're all safe and there's no major disasters, no damage, and above all, no one hurt. So be safe.
Absolutely.
Love you. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Bye.